Hi everyone, this is Lacey Long. Welcome back to our 8th and final week of the Real Woman of Philadelphia contest. I've been so privileged to be a part of this, and I just want to thank everyone for their amazing creativity and support, and most of all, delicious recipes. There's about 50 of those out there that I have to try this week, and you know, there's not enough days in the week to eat all that food, but I just have to have it because it all looks so good. So congratulations to all of us. We've all done a really wonderful job, and it's been such a pleasure to do it with all of you. I am excited to share this recipe with you today because it's actually the very first recipe I ever made on my own. I remember I was in 6th grade and short of, you know, some microwave macaroni and cheese, this is the first real thing that I made, and I've always been very proud of it. It's been something that I've shared with just everyone, you know, and every time I serve this cake, the very first reaction I get is complete and utter silence, because it transports people to a different place and time because it's just so incredible. It's heavenly. So I'm really happy to share this cake with you. So everyone, we have a few things to make sure we get started with. Numero uno, make sure your Philadelphia cream cheese is out and it's getting softened. You can even pop that in the microwave for 10 or 15 seconds. If you're in a hurry, I totally get it. And then the other thing that we want to do is get our chocolate prepared and put on the stove in our double boiler. So I have that cooking away now. And last but not least, we're going to get started on our actual cake. So this cake consists of 3 layers. We've got our angel food cake layer, which I just bought from the store. It's sort of like a ready-made pie crust, you know, because this is just one of the many layers of the cake. So that's what I did. You know, I'm all for making life simpler. So we've got our angel food cake, and then on top of that, we're going to have some cream cheese chocolate mousse that is amazing. And last but not least, we'll have a little layer of whipped topping, which is awesome because it just gives such a great look to this cake. It really looks very much so like a cappuccino, which is why I'm calling it a cappuccino cake. So we're going to do a lot of decorating to really make it look even more so like a cappuccino, but we have to get started with the cake first. So what I'm doing here is just making sure that I take off a layer of my angel food cake, and this can be anywhere between a 1/2 inch to a half of the cake. It's all about the size of the hole in your cake and what pan you use or what pan they have at the grocery store. So I need a pretty substantial amount, but it's still thin, so I think a 1/2 inch will do it for us. And I can show you what I'm doing with that now. So what I just did was sliced off this layer that we have that we took off the top. And okay, so angel food cake is one of my all-time favorite cakes, but it's a cake with a hole in it, and me personally, I want more cake. So what I'm doing with the cake that I have reserved over here is filling it up with our top layer. That way our cake is solid and it doesn't have a hole in it. So what we're going to do is just fill the hole as much as we can, and once we've done that, there's bound to be some left over, and if that is the case, then you might just need to go ahead and snack on that. So, you know, I guess if you have to do that, you have to do what you have to do. So I'm just going to fill this in, and then we can soak our whole cake in some coffee. Delicious! So our next step, now that we have our completely filled in cake, is to take some coffee. We've got about a cup and a half. You know, it's what you have on hand, but I like to use about a cup and a half. And this is a great use for that coffee that's in the bottom of your pot that no one's gonna have a cup anymore, so now you have this cold coffee sitting around. What's that? That's waste. We don't waste in this house. So I'm just gonna pour the coffee on in this nice even layer. We want it to soak in as evenly as possible so that everyone gets plenty of delicious coffee in their cake. And once we have that all set, we can slide this into our fridge to just cool down and soak up. Yummy! We're going to be creaming some powdered sugar and a full brick of your favorite and mine, Philadelphia cream cheese. So I'm just going to slide this in, and this is a little bit boring, so I'm just going to work on this. And once we're done creaming these two things together, then we can add our chocolate. Yay! So our next step, now that we have this creamed together, is to add our beautiful silken textured melted chocolate. And we're just going to add that slowly, and then we're going to beat it all together and get a really nice frothy texture. That's our goal. So I'm not going to do that on camera because frankly it's a little loud, but I'll show you what we're looking for when I'm done. So you can see we now have this beautiful whipped texture. We're going to pop this in the freezer for just a second. We're just hoping to get it a little cooler so that it'll go on our cake nicely. You can see how beautifully soaked in all that coffee is. We just went ahead and inverted our cake onto our serving platter. And now we can go ahead and add our chocolate mousse. One of the beautiful things about this cake is all the different layers and how it looks when you're serving it. So I think it's important to make sure you really do a nice clean job of spreading your chocolate mousse. And I always pop each layer in the freezer for just a couple minutes between layering it all on, just so that it gets the time to really set so we don't smush it all together. So this is what it looks like. You can see that beautiful edge. And again, I'm just going to pop this in the freezer for a minute or two, and then we can put on our whipped topping. Our next step is to go ahead and spread our whipped topping over the top of our cake. You can use the aerosol can stuff, or you can use the stuff that you get in the freezer section at your grocery store, but just make sure that it's easily spreadable, because that's what we're looking to do. We're looking to make sure that we can spread it all over the top of our cake. So I have a fun little technique that I want to show you. Come and check it out. So what I like to do is take a small spatula, sort of similar to this, or the side of a knife, whatever you have, and sort of spank the top of the cake. You just do that so that you can get some peaks so that it really looks like the top of the cappuccino. I just think that looks amazing. Look at all that. Oh, so yummy. So now for the rest of our garnish, we're going to stick in 2 cinnamon sticks, some chocolate shavings, and it's really good when you get these to look like little chocolate curls. And then last but not least, a little dash of nutmeg, just like a real cappuccino. Ah, this looks delicious. Now, I can't eat it right now because the whole point of this cake is the presentation, and I have to wait until the whole family's ready to eat. So I'm going to hold off, but I know that it's amazing. I'm sure that you'll love it when you give it a try. I'm Lacey Long, wishing you peace, love, and all things tasty. Good luck and best wishes for the future.